Times 500 in just a few moments, but first, a few points. He's known for his exploits in Indy-type racing cars. He's won the Indianapolis 500 4 times, but he certainly is no stranger to stock car racing either. He's already won a pair of 500-mile NASCAR events on this speedway. So for a further look at last Sunday's competitors, here is CBS Motorsports editor Ken Squire at the Ontario Motor Speedway for the LA Times 500. Ken?
From one of the most beautiful automobile racing facilities in the world, the Ontario Motor Speedway in California, welcome to the running of the $168,000 Los Angeles Times Charities 500. I'm Ken Squire here with the final race on the 1977 calendar for the NASCAR Grand National Automobiles. 40 cars are out here and gridded, ready to go, and it's a historic start. We're on the pole, looking for his 186th career win, Richard Petty, level across North Carolina, and it is the last time we will see this particular car in competition on a super speedway. Next year, a new car decreed by NASCAR for the Dodge drivers. And so on the front row today, we have not only Petty, but a second Dodge prepared by Kentucky's Harry Hyde and driven by the outstanding new driver, Neil Bonnet, for the front row in this last race in the $4.5 million 30-race series. Covering the action with us here in the expert commentary position, and right now to take a look at turn one from Upper Boddington, England, David Hoss.
NASCAR drivers are used to leaning their 3,800-pound projectiles into the steep banks of the southern stock car tracks. Well, they're out of luck here, because in 1969, this track was built as an exact replica of the famous Indianapolis Raceway, and the turns here are only 9 degrees banked, which brings those speeds down a lot. And these 3,800-pound projectiles want to leave the Ontario Speedway at a great rate. So the handling has to be right on these cars. Chassis is very important. With 3,300-foot straightaways, they can do 185 miles an hour, which is a drafter's paradise. The only thing is what you're going to do with the draft at the end of it, because they're one-groove turns. So the car we see win today is going to handle better than its competitors. It has to have at least equal engine, and the driver just may have to be on his toes a little bit more than usual.
Covering the pit action today, let's go to him right now as the drivers prepare for the start. Here's Brock Yates.
Family, there's a special excitement about the last race of any season, and it's no exception here. We've got Richard Petty trying to get his last victory with this old warhorse before he puts it out to pasture. We've got Ricky Rudd trying to maintain a very narrow lead over Sam Summers in the race for Rookie of the Year title. We've got Cale Yarborough trying to win $500,000 for the first time any Grand National driver had ever done that in a full season. And he's also trying to make a perfect finishing record, 30 finishes out of 30 races. And we've got a lot more stories going on down here in the pits in this race, and we'll be here till the last wheel stops turning. So we'll talk with you later in the day as the race progresses.
As the drivers prepare for this 500-mile race, let's take a look at the starting lineup. On the pole, car number 43, winner of 185 previous races, 6-time NASCAR Grand National Champion Richard Petty. Flanking him in a second 1974 Dodge automobile from Hueytown, Alabama, winner of 1 Grand National race, the outstanding sophomore driver Neil Bonnet. Then in row number 2, car number 51, the 6-time United States Auto Club champion and 2 times winner here in stock car racing at the Ontario Motor Speedway, A.J. Foyt of Houston, Texas. Riding in position number 4, car number 21. The Wood brothers have won this race 3 times. Their driver today has won it on 1 previous occasion, David Pearson of Spartanburg, South Carolina. In the 3rd row, starting in 5th position, 2-time and defending NASCAR Grand National Champion, winner of 9 Grand National races this year, a total of 49 in his career. Driving the Junior Johnson-prepared automobile from Timmonsville, South Carolina, it's Cale Yarborough. And flanking Yarborough in this row will be the sensation of the '77 season, winner of 6 Grand National races this year, including that unbelievable Dixie 500 just 2 weekends ago on CBS. That's Darrell Waltrip. Moving back into row number 4 is car number 1, winner of 2 Grand National races this year, the Haas-Ellington prepared Chevrolet, the driver from Hueytown, Alabama, Donnie Allison. In the 8th starting position, former Grand National champion and Daytona 500-mile winner in car number 72 from Ellerby, North Carolina, and Detroit, Michigan, the ex-taxi cab driver, Benny Parsons. Then in row number 5, car number 73. With a good finish today, he will win the NASCAR Western Grand National title, Bill Schmidt, car number 73. And beside him, racing before hometown folks with a very good qualifying position from Porterville, California, in the junior Don Levy prepared Ford, Richard Brooks. All right, we're just about ready for the command of fire engines. Let's go to the victory circle area of the Ontario Motor Speedway right now. A trio to do the honors: Steve Garvey of the LA Dodgers, Mackenzie Phillips, and Valerie Bertinelli of the CBS show One Day at a Time.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine.
You're right, Ken. It was a unique trio.
We'll be back with a start in just a moment. Here at the Ontario Motor Speedway, starting grid for this LA Times Charity 500 automobile race. There you see in row 4, Donnie Allison and Benny Parsons. Well back in the field, row 7, Buddy Baker and Bobby Allison are two previous winners of the event. Buddy Baker winning this race in 1975. Bobby Allison won it with a Matador in 1974. Field coming out of turn number 3. Remember now, 8-degree banking, just about flat for these automobiles. 1,600-foot straightaway to turn number 4. And then at 3,300 feet down these long straightaways, they build up speeds of over 180 miles per hour. Field just about set for the start. Here they are, entering the main straightaway. Impressive sight, David.
Very impressive and very well held back. The front row keeping the speed down and the field behind really packing up. Make a pretty dramatic start when the flag falls.
Coming down for the green flag. They are underway in the LA Times Charity 500. It is gang warfare into turn number 1 with Richard Petty going out in front. A.J. Foyt sneaking down the inside into second place. Running in third, it's Neil Bonnet. And the field successfully negotiating turn number 1. Richard Petty is in front, A.J. Foyt into second. David Pearson, last year's winner of this event, moving into third place. Neil Bonnet maintaining fourth as they go down the backstretch for the first time. Climbing to 160, 170, 180 miles per hour. And then how do you get into these turns, David?
With a great deal of difficulty, but A.J. Foyt's coming up inside of Richard Petty, and he slides by on the entry to turn number 3. A.J. Foyt doing just what you'd expect to do on this track with which he's so familiar, having done thousands of laps here in Indianapolis.
Here's Richard Petty back on the inside. Coming up turn number 4. Petty drops that same car to the inside, and they're going to make it 3 wide in the main straightaway. Talk about traffic congestion. Here it is at 180 miles per hour across the line.
Those front 3 cars setting up a tremendous draft, Ken. These cars really being sucked on at great speed.
David Pearson has appropriated first position. Pearson deployed in first, and down into second spot is Neil Bonnet, the youngster in car number 5, motoring in second position to hit that short turn. Racing this track just like Indianapolis. Here they are in the back straightaway. Neil Bonnet edging along, and look at this battle taking place for third position. That was Darrell Waltrip and A.J. Foyt for the lead. Bonnet on the inside is getting beneath the 3-time David Pearson. Here they are in turn number 3. Pearson edges, takes a look down the inside, and then tucks right back behind. Car number 5, Neil Bonnet. Around a complete lap number 2, and we'll have a time for you as to how these front cars are meandering around this track as they come back to the line. 59 1/10 of a second for 2.5 miles. They're averaging 152.28 miles per hour, and look at this warfare. A real skirmish for the lead. Pearson back on the inside. Running alongside of the high side, it is Neil Bonnet. A difference of about 15 years in age out here between these two. Still side by side, and David, that's what they said you couldn't do on this racetrack.
That's what I said they couldn't do on this track. Yeah, that's so much for the expert commentator. Look at that. 3 abreast going to 4 abreast.
Here's Darrell Waltrip dropping to the inside. He moves into second spot. A.J. Foyt goes to third. Meanwhile, maintaining the lead, Neil Bonnet of Hueytown, Alabama. He's never won on a super speedway, driving the Harry Hyde prepared automobile.
There you've got 2 of the youngest drivers in NASCAR leading this very, very experienced and very high-speed train.
Notice A.J. Foyt, number 51, in third, and here comes that car number 21 of Pearson in fourth, back with a lead. Here they are again, nose to nose at turn number 1, and Waltrip is taking the lead. Darrell Waltrip exerting pressure on Bonnet, grabs the inside, goes out in front. Bonnet comes back on the inside. For third position, it's David Pearson, low. A.J. Foyt, high in fourth, and then Cale Yarborough meandering in fifth. Bonnet back to the inside for another stab at the lead. The skirmish really heating up. Bonnet is back in front, and look at this. It's Cale Yarborough to the inside, fighting beneath A.J. Foyt, pulling alongside David Pearson. David, this is just unbelievable.
But if they're going to keep this up for the next 500 miles, it's going to be very tough on machine and man. I just can't see them keeping this torrid pace up. But at the moment, the two youngsters are still leading, but not a very long lead. A tremendous race so far.
11 cars in the lead lap, and back there in 8th, staying right with the field, is Janet Guthrie today, looking very strong. But here's the big surprise. Bonnet, who's qualified well before, again today up in the front row, right now, putting that car out into the lead, staying just in front of Darrell Waltrip. And here is Bill Smith, the West Coast champion, most retiring. That means it'll be Phoenix tomorrow afternoon to decide the Western NASCAR Championship. He's fighting with Chuck Bound. The fight right now, the contention is Waltrip and Neil Bonnet. Darrell Waltrip down low. Puts the Chevrolet into first, Dodge in second, and it is Mercury running third as they come out of turn number 3. Waltrip.
Very low there, right below the yellow line, almost on the flat track, almost flat tracking, which is where he excels.
Donnie Allison in the pits. Problems on his automobile. Bad news for the Haas-Ellington crew. And look at the lead. First lead anyone's enjoyed today that Waltrip is beginning to develop. Hold the phone. Here comes Neil Bonnet. And that lead evaporates as they go down that 3,300-foot backstretch. Bonnet dropping low.
Bonnet's car seems to be very, very fast on these 3,300-foot straightaways. I don't know whether he has more power, but he can certainly use the draft to great effect.
Petty is in fifth. A.J. Foyt is in sixth. Benny Parsons in seventh. And in eighth is Guthrie. And there is car number 1. Donnie Allison's car being rolled back behind the wall, retired to the garage. A bad break for the man who's won 2 Grand National races this year.
In fact, the second bad break in 2 weeks for Donnie.
That leader is Waltrip. Bonnet is still there, tagging along right behind him in second. Brock Yates is standing by in the pits with Donnie Allison.
Johnny, very early this afternoon, what happened?
Well, wire to the alternator shorted out and burned all the wiring harness stuff, and there was just no way we could get it fixed.
Slithering down to the inside of the racetrack, it's Darrell Waltrip in car 88, challenging once again as the field swarms into the backstretch. Here's Waltrip going up against Neil Bonnet. And here comes Cale Yarborough beneath Pearson, beneath Waltrip and Bonnet. Cale Yarborough for the lead. Bonnet shuts him off.
A great graphic demonstration there of the power of the draft. It just sucked Cale right up to those cars.
Waltrip goes back into second position. Yarborough drops to third. It's Pearson in fourth. Petty in fifth. A.J. Foyt in sixth. We have 11 cars running within 2.5 seconds of each other down this main straightaway at about 180 miles per hour. Look at this battle for the lead. It's Waltrip back on the inside. The Franklin, Tennessee campaigner just nudges the nose of old 88 out in front of Bonnet. Bonnet will have no part of it. He sticks on the outside. And that car of Bonnet really seems to handle these turns well no matter where he goes, David.
Well, he seems to have the power, he seems to have the handling, but he's doing a magnificent job behind the wheel, which is where it all boils down to.
Neil Bonnet in the lead. Here comes Cale Yarborough to challenge on the outside. And here comes Richard Petty in this astonishing LA Times 500. Midway on the backstretch, we've just had a crash. Reeling off the wall, car number 01, young Chuck Bound of Portland, Oregon, has crunched his automobile soundly, David.
He had a very big spin coming off turn 2. And finally ended up head-on into the wall, which, of course, has brought out a typical rash of NASCAR pit stop.
Under caution for the first time here in the Times 500 for Chuck Bound's car lying across the track. He is all right. Car badly tracked. And there's number 27. Remember, this 27 is Sam Summers, Savannah, Georgia, running for Rookie of the Year, competing against Ricky Rudd with $10,000 at stake today. We asked Summers and Rudd if the tight point battle would change their strategy today.
The reason will change is, racing strategy on my part, because I always enter a race with the intention of running just as hard as I can possibly drive as far myself and as fast as it will go in order to try to finish the race. Well, normally I haven't been thinking about, the Rookie of the Year challenge, and I've just been running flat out and just really don't think about it. And I'll probably do the same in today's race. I really try not to think about it and let it, and hamper the way I'm going to change my driving style today. I'll probably just drive it like I do any other race and just go out there and run just as hard as I can go and hard as the car is capable of going.
Ricky Rudd's car number 22, and as they say up home in Vermont, David, he looks a little het up.
I assume you mean a little overheated.
No one in Avery's store would understand that. Here's car number 11. This is the Cale Yarborough-driven automobile. And the master mechanic on this car is Junior Johnson. He's the jack man out there. And look at him giving instructions to the NASCAR official as to where to stand as they're making a 4-tire change. And the last American hero pumping up the left side of the automobile. We asked him earlier what the key to their amazing success was in successfully finishing automobile races. And this is what Junior Johnson had to tell us.
Well, we've got a real good crew, and Cale's been fortunate to stay out of accidents and stuff, and when you got a good crew working on something, everything goes right, you do pretty good at it.
And of course, David, there are some who say that a car would fear the wrath of a Junior Johnson to such a degree it wouldn't dare not finish. Here's Janet Guthrie, car number 68, now leading this event under caution. And we have a leading lady out here. This is the first time we've ever had a woman in Grand National competition in first place. Janet Guthrie has done it. Car number 68. Right behind the pace car. There's Chuck Brown's car, and you get an idea of just how much damage that machine took.
You also get an idea of just how strong these cars are, because Chuck Brown was just walking around straight after that very severe crash.
Sam Summers retiring, going behind the wall, and that means Ricky Rudd has won Rookie of the Year honors. There's Janet Guthrie's number 68 leading here in this event. Brock Yates is down there, and her pit with Linda Ferrari. Let's go there right now.
Linda, is this the first time a Kelly girl's been in the lead?
Yeah, I hate to say, I'm sorry it's on the yellow. I hope it lasts long.
As we say, a very attractive bird. Also very clever, too.
And a historic moment in racing with Janet Guthrie out in front for the restart.
The restart has already been started by James Hilton, you'll notice, who's come from the third spot, and now, in fact, leads the field, and, in fact, the pace cars. They go around turn 4 into the front straight to take the green flag, with James Hilton now leading Janet Guthrie.
James Hilton has won one Grand National race in his career in front, and look at this seesaw down the main straightaway. Talk about rush hour traffic here in the Los Angeles area. Oh, that was Dave Marcus and Buddy Baker getting together.
Very hair-raising moment there. I'm not sure whether they touched, but there was a lot of very quick sideways movement on those two cars.
Buddy Baker is down the inside. Remember, he won this race in 1975 and beneath Neil Bonnet. Challenging is Cale Yarborough as well. James Hilton of Inman, South Carolina is in the lead here in the LA Times Charities 500. Back straightaway up to 180 miles per hour. 3 deep. Number 11, Cale Yarborough sails out in front. Here they are in that short 1,600-foot straightaway leading to turn 4. Once again, the speeds will begin to climb down this long 3,300-foot straightaway up to 180 miles per hour. You talk about your broken field runners, David. Take a look at that. Ooh.
Oh, and more rapid position changing there. All these cars trying to get that draft, trying to get themselves set up for these flat turns, not like the normal bank track they're used to racing on.
Number 5, Neil Bonnet, trying to appropriate second position from Buddy Baker, does so. As they come out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway, Richard Petty, number 43, red automobile on the inside, Buddy Baker high. Petty going into third.
Buddy Baker, in fact, hasn't had a win this year. It's one of the first seasons for a long time that Buddy Baker has had a win this year, so he'll be trying hard again today, but it doesn't look as if he's going to be able to do it.
And he's leaving this team at the end of this race. He's leaving Bud Moore, going with M.C. Anderson, the fellow who prepared the Sam Summers racing team this year. Be interesting to see what Bud Moore does for a driver in 1978. And we understand he may come out with a new car, different than what we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years. Number 5, Bonnet, closes on number 11, Yarborough, as they go to turn 1. Boy, for a sophomore, he shows a lot of muscle and a lot of spunk.
He certainly does. He's just not given an inch this afternoon. He's trying hard all the time. There he is, squeezing Ted up to the wall.
And taking some inches away to go back into the lead. That's just amazing. Remember, this track is nearly flat, and they're running side by side. They just have to be sliding like on dirt through those corners. And they're still wheel-to-wheel in the back straightaway. And here comes Richard Petty's 43. 3 wide in the back straightaway. Richard Petty is back in front. There's the master.
A great slingshot pass by Richard Petty, who goes in there very, very low. But on the other hand, he uses all the track coming right up to the wall there. Richard Petty maintains a good high line.
And there's the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. That is car number 51, A.J. Foyt, battling for 8 with car number 2, Dave Marcus, running well in the Australian car today. Right behind them, Benny Parsons. Look at this fight. Here comes Parsons, trying to make it 3 deep. They're racing all over this 2.5-mile racing facility.
Well, there's a trio that are very, very much in love with each other at the moment, by the look of things.
Going into turn 1, the bump and grind out there is car number 72, leans on Dave Marcus. Parsons just getting the bit of his fender. Foyt in 8th, Parsons in 9th, Marcus in 10th. Darrell Waltrip hobbled. He's in the pits. The hood is up on his automobile. We're racing under green here. This is going to cost him a lap. Trouble for the man who just won in Atlanta, Georgia. Richard Petty currently leading here in the Los Angeles Times Charities 500. What a race. Richard Petty first, Neil Bonnet second, Cale Yarborough third here in the LA Times Charities 500 at the Ontario Motor Speedway. With Brock Yates and David Hobbs, I'm Ken Squire, and that right there is Janet Guthrie, who's made history today leading. First time a woman has ever led in a Grand National event. It's Petty first, still Bonnet second, and back in the garage area, the man seeking his 10th Grand National victory will not happen today. Darrell Waltrip's automobile has been in for several laps. Let's go to Brock Yates in the garage.
Joe, what's it look like? Sounded like a valve spring, perhaps.
Well, I think they just figured out what it was. They said it wasn't any problem. I think they can fix it. Of course, we're going to be several laps behind, but the point situation being the way it is, we'd sure like to get back out there and run the rest of the day. There's only a few points between Benny and Richard and myself, and it's a shame because the car was just running super well, and I thought I had an excellent chance to win the race. The only car that I felt like I could run as quick as I could was Richard Petty, and of course, he was one of the ones that we were worried about.
Worried everyone today, David. Right now, he's being a little worried by the sophomore sensation, 31-year-old Neil Bonnet, again running wheel-to-wheel with him.
Yep, Richard Petty looks to me like he's in a hurry to catch the early plane or something. He's really setting a torrid pace here, but not too torrid for Neil Bonnet, who's hanging right in there with him, driving beautifully today.
Lapping Buddy Arrington as they go down that 3,300-foot backstretch where they get these tremendous speeds in this racetrack. And back into turn number 3. Whoa, trouble on car number 5. Bonnet seemed to lose it there for a moment, David.
He certainly went very, very high, but it had no after effect. He came on to short.
Something's happened. He is going onto pit road, and apparently he's cut a tire down. Petty is running by himself, slowing down and headed into the pits. His car, number 5. Apparently, we saw a tire come loose on that car. He must have run over something out there.
Well, that's going to be a disappointment for Bonnet. He's been hanging right in there, and this is not going to help him at all. Pit stop to change the tire on the green could be very serious. Race hope.
A big lead for Richard Petty, and there you see the clock working on car number 5 as the Harry Hyde crew make a rapid tire change. They're changing both right side tires on Neil Bonnet's automobile. They put him out in 14 seconds. Not bad for changing 2 tires, David.
No, not too bad at all. Quick screen clean, some fuel, and 2 tires in 14 seconds.
Trouble. In turn 2, Edna Gree, Kelso, Washington. Car is on fire, and it's been on fire here for several hundred feet. Boy, that's a ticklish position to be in. He's controlling it, driving it into the infield here, blowing out a rear tire right there. Edna Gree's automobile. Racing flamethrower at the present time, and he's trying to get himself. Now, there's a guy, David, who is truly the trickster between.
Yeah, he looks like an Indian train, doesn't it? That's how they ride all those on, hanging on the outside, but he's doing a good job. He doesn't want to stay in the car, but he wants to be ready to depart, but he has to control it.
Traverses here and snowplows his way to a stop. Hot-footing his way to the infield, but he's okay. Ed Negree climbing out of a burning car number 8, and there's the fire crew right on hand immediately.
Well, it's a good job it's not in England at the moment, because all our firemen are on strike. And the car would burn to a cinder. He's going to open the hood and get his eyebrows in if he's not careful.
The race is under caution. The race is again under caution this afternoon, and what a break that'll be for Neil Bonnet. It will keep him in the hunt for the lead.
Absolutely, just what the doctor ordered for him to come right at that moment.
A good application of the dry chemical utilized in Grand National Racing to keep these kind of fires under control, David.
It's very effective, but it can eat away at the aluminium, which sometimes doesn't do these cars much good.
That's Ed Negree, who rode down a hot one here this afternoon in this LA Times 500. Right now, we're going to be going back to New York with Brent Musburger, and we'll join you later on this afternoon for the conclusion of this race, which thus far has been perhaps the very best ever run here at the Ontario Motor Speedway.
The lead, David Pearson and Cale Yarborough in close pursuit. So now let's rejoin Ken Squire and David Hobbs for the finish of the LA Times 500.
Once again, we have a unique situation for a finish here in a NASCAR Grand National race this year. When they come to the line, we are under caution. There will be 8 laps, just 20 miles to go. And they still have the light on the safety car, which means it will be at least another lap before they're turned loose. And turning loose an engine right here under caution, that's the Dave Marcus, the Osterlund car. Dave Marcus's machine really coughing as it comes down the main straightaway, David.
It's coughing out clouds of smoke out of both banks of cylinders. It can't be good.
Here's the reason we're under caution. Up in turn number 3, Benny Parsons spun his car number 72 while running in third. And there you see Cale Yarborough trying to miss it, doing a 360 on the bottom of the racetrack. And fortunately, this was under race conditions, about 130 miles per hour here. The rest of the field came thundering down, and you can see how narrow the gap was. And watch how lucky Benny Parsons is right here. Field up in the high groove, just inching by him. They both were able to get going once again. However, Buddy Baker was able to move just in front of Cale Yarborough, and that's the situation. As we come down with 7 laps to go, Darrell Waltrip is out of the race. Janet Guthrie, who led earlier, she is retired from the event. And when they come across the line this time, there will be 7 laps remaining in the Los Angeles Times Charities 500. 4 cars running the lead lap, and there they are across the line. With 7 laps to go, Neil Bonnet is deployed in first. It's Richard Petty running in second. A lap down is car number 21, David Pearson. He cut a tire. Pearson's still up here with the front runners, but he is a lap down. Now, there are your 2 leaders. The sophomore, 30-year-old wonder. That's car number 5. Neil Bonnet still in front of Richard Petty, the ultimate master of Grand National Racing. And there's the rookie, Ricky Rudd, who's just taken rookie honors for the year and $10,000, being lapped by car number 11, the 4th-place machine, Cale Yarborough, who is closing on Buddy Baker in third. Scramble for the lead. Petty to the inside. The old maestro trying to give the kid a lesson out here in turn 3.
Well, the pressure's really on Neil Bonnet now. I mean, this is an absolute classic NASCAR confrontation. Just a few laps to go. And Richard Petty's years of experience with a great team to back him up and a great car. It's going to be tough on Neil.
Neil Bonnet has won just 1 race in his Grand National career, that at Richmond, Virginia, earlier this year. 6 laps to go. Richard Petty is seeking his 186th win today. Here he is, nosing down to the inside and nearly nudged by car number 5, Bonnet, who closes the door in turn number 1. Bonnet not being intimidated a bit by Richard Petty. There you see the 21 car of David Pearson. Remember, Pearson 1 lap down, keeping time on this lap.
Richard Petty going through turn 2 there, very, very high, much higher than Neil Bonnet in an almost identical car. Just shows that high line that Richard Petty always takes, coming up on the inside of Bonnet into 3.
Richard Petty going back for the lead another time. He's won 5 races this year. Headed for that magic mark that nobody's ever touched. The 200, he's out in front. Richard Petty has taken command of the LA Times 500. Bonnet comes back on the inside. This Bonnet is just amazing.
And look at that fishtailing. Richard Petty there, fishtailing that car at 145 miles an hour through turn 4. A handful level and a half. Those big cars at this sort of speed.
That last lap at 1 minute and 3/10 of a second, 149 miles per hour average in the two track. Bonnet, the protege of Bobby Allison, is taking the lead away from Richard Petty as the laps dwindle. 2 weeks ago, Bonnet head-on into the wall at Atlanta, Georgia, destroyed the automobile he was in. We asked him about that crash and its effect upon him.
And that car, you know, I reared back and hit that wall at anywhere from 150 to 160 miles an hour, and it blacked me out just from the, you know, from the G's. And I didn't have a bruise on me. I had a couple of places on my neck where the straps grabbed me and deals like that. But after the car got through bouncing around and everything got all sorted out, well, I was able to get out of the thing, and I swinged off next Tuesday. And looking back, thinking about doing away with a nice race car, but all that does is puts a little more self-confidence in Neil Bonnet in a type race car he's sitting in right now.
He certainly exudes self-confidence out here right now.
And Richard Petty exuding smoke from his back wheels. Neil Bonnet drops down, trying to break the draft to Richard Petty, but without much luck, Richard's still right there behind him.
4 laps to go. This is the one track where Richard Petty has never won. He's led many races here. He's been around in the last 10 or 15 laps, but then the car failed. We asked him if those last 10 or 15 laps were a jinx. This is what he told us.
It must be. I have a lot of trouble with them, and they're not really that hard. This is a very easy racetrack to drive. It's real aggravating because a lot of times you can't keep the car doing exactly like what you want. You run 200 laps and run a different place all 200 times. So from that standpoint, you've got to really be on your toes. But it's the kind of a racetrack that gets slicker and slicker, and the groove moves out, and just whoever's handling the business in the race.
Richard Petty handling very well, moves in on car number 5, Neil Bonnet. The youngster against the veteran. The battle of the ages coming out of turn number 4 into the main straightaway. Neil Bonnet holding on, trying to win his first super speedway victory. For Richard Petty, they're in the 100. 3 laps left in this LA Times Charity 500 direct from the on-field speed. Richard Petty closing ground in turn 1, David. He moves in. Can't get through in that short chute. Let's see what he'll do on the backstretch this time.
Gets incredibly close to the wall on the short chute. Both of them running really low in the groove.
That 21 car of Pearson, remember, is a lap down. Running in 3rd is Buddy Baker, and in 4th is car number 11, Cale Yarborough. Less than 3 laps to go. Yarborough is making his move. He drops to the inside, tries Baker, and Baker runs away from him. Up into turn number 3, and here is a battle for the lead. Richard Petty closing up on Neil Bonnet. Bonnet's lead evaporates. Here's Petty getting a good low bite out of that corner. Down they come with 2 laps to go. Bonnet still in front. Now, is Petty just playing it close to the vest, or is he running all out, David?
Well, he's playing it very, very close now. They've only got 2 laps to go, and he's got to make his move very, very soon.
Well, he sets people up. He's famous for it. 2 laps remaining in this $160,000+ event. And down to the inside, Cale Yarborough takes over in 3rd. He moves beneath Buddy Baker as they went into turn 1.
So it looks like the car number 11 is going to do 30 out of 30. 30 races completed out of 30 starts. A magnificent effort on behalf of Junior Johnson, Herb Nabb, and of course the man behind the wheel, Cale Yarborough.
Neil Bonnet with the lead. Can he possibly pull it off? Here's Richard Petty, about 3 car lengths behind as they streak down the back straightaway. And car number 11, Cale Yarborough, putting a lap, still another lap on car number 21, David Pearson, a major adversary of his for many, many years. Out of turn 4, coming down into the main straightaway, it will be Neil Bonnet out in front. Richard Petty is in 2nd. Well, this is going to be it. This will be the final lap of the final race of the 1977 season. There's the white flag. Young Neil Bonnet is in front. The last lap, 2.5 miles to go. Richard Petty goes very high as they go into turn number 1. Bonnet drops right down on the yellow line, pulls out, and he pulls out a lead. Neil Bonnet walking away from Richard Petty as they go to turn 2.
Using all the racetrack, right down to the bottom of the track and right up to the wall on the exit of the corner. Both these drivers straining.
Talk about strain. Look at this. David Pearson drop kicking at 160, 70, up to 180 miles per hour. Buddy Baker's automobile down the back straightaway.
That is the ultimate drop.
Field moving down into turn 3, and there are the 2. That's Neil Bonnet on the left, Richard Petty on the right, ready to go at it for the finish line here. They're coming down into turn number 4. Richard Petty is making his move. He's up on the outside. Coming down for the finish this time. Smoldering the tires. Petty coming to the line. He couldn't get through. Bonnet holds him off. Checkered flag is out. Neil Bonnet wins his first Super Speedway race ever.
And what a win on one of the most difficult tracks to beat. The master tactician Richard Petty like that was just incredible. And to cap it all, Cale Yarwood nearly took second spot away from Petty.
In replay, there's Bonnet across the line. Richard Petty finishing in second. That's how close they were. A car length and a half apart at the end of 500 miles. Bonnet coming into the victory circle, having averaged 129 miles an hour for the 500-mile distance. That's not a record. That mark still belonging to Buddy Baker in 1975. 10 drivers shared the lead today. That is a new record. And they swapped the lead 33 times this afternoon. Let's go to Brock Yates in victory lane with Neil Bonnet.
How's it feel to have your first Super Speedway win here in 1977? Well, all I can do is tell Harry Hyde, Jim Stacy, and all the guys worked on the crew. You know, we got down, we had a flat, came back, and I especially want to thank Randy Dorton. He's back home in North Carolina. Boy builds my motors. Motor ran super all day, and the boys did a heck of a job. You had everybody a little bit thrilled when Richard got past you with about 4 laps left. I don't know. I was pretty hungry for that win, and you know, I didn't know what I could do other than just go on down in the corner and try to win the race. And, you know, it was a kind of a dangerous move to make, but the car was good enough to do it. You had cut a tire, but otherwise you didn't have much problems all day. No, all day they got me in and out of pits great. You know, when Richard passed me, just as he passed me going in pretty early in the race, I blew the right front out and was lucky enough to get it stopped in time to come down pit road. But, boy, it's just been one heck of a day, and I want to thank Jim Stacy and Harry Hyde and all the boys. Neil Bonnet, congratulations. A terrific afternoon. I know that you're looking forward to 1978 even more than ever now. Yes, sir. You know, this team's been on the verge of going. I think we're opening the door a little bit. Way to go. That's it from Neil Bonnet here in Victory Lane, Stan. A terrific effort.
A dramatic conclusion to a great season as Neil Bonnet of Hueytown, Alabama, wins here in the Times 500. And for the Upper Boddington Flash, David Aubs, your thoughts as this youngster beats the veteran?
Well, that's it. The young bloods of NASCAR are up. Darrell Waltrip's had a lot of wins this year, and Neil Bonnet had a brilliant win today. Not only did he win on the track, but his master tactician, Harry Hyde, helped him to win in the pits. And with the money that Jim Stacy is putting into the team, next year could well be Neil Bonnet's year. And today was a very good example of how well he can drive. It's a difficult track to drive on. He just did everything you could ask for him.
Well, that completes our 1977 auto racing coverage here on CBS. Our thanks to Brock Yates and to David Hobbs. And incidentally, David, good luck tomorrow on winning your 5th race when you go down on this Thanksgiving weekend to Daytona Beach and try to bring one home in sports car racing.
Well, I'm looking forward to it tomorrow very much. And if we do win, I shall definitely give thanks. Thank you.
Everybody at CBS wishes you their very best. For Brock Yates and David Hobbs, I'm Ken Squire here in California's Ontario Motor Speedway, where Neil Bonnet has won.